Okay, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's open the meeting here and begin with just a couple of things. First, let's welcome Ian here today, and I will look for a motion to accept the minutes of the past meeting as read.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's passed. I do want to say one thing. At the last meeting, I was asked to contact the fellow who left the baseball trust to the library. I did contact him and told him, if you recall, that the his spending policy, which was the interest plus 4% of the corpus of the fund, was a little rich, and that he should consider just saying the corpus of the 4% of the corpus of the fund to keep the trust going in perpetuity. He indicated that he was very comfortable with the interest plus 4% of the fund, and that he did not expect the trust to last in perpetuity, and that it would at some day end. So I couldn't convince him to go our route, but let's leave it as it is. All right.
All right.
And now let's welcome Ian and let her begin her comments.
Hello, thank you. We are pleased to be here once again with a preliminary recommendation for amounts for the town-held scholarships for the 23-24 school year. We come to you about this time every year to seek your sort of pre-approval for these amounts that we would like to advertise to the seniors in the December-January timeframe. And then ultimately, after these are awarded, they would come to you for approval for payment, but we don't want to run into any discrepancies after awards. So we are looking for you to at least approve in concept the amounts that we have here so that we are all on the same page.
Dave, is there a second part to this? This doesn't look like it.
This is the full document that I had. It's on the back side, it's continuation.
It doesn't actually have any of the trust names on it.
They are on the left.
Right. I think this, I don't know if this is a maybe this copy is a misprint.
Do you want to use this one?
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's okay. I brought that, I think, from my office. Do you want to photocopy this one? It has the.
Sure, I don't promise Joe.
Okay.
Fine.
Joe, if you can give me a minute, let me see about re-emailing it.
I can probably email it again.
No.
Yeah, I've got
Do
it
you
on the
have the
computer.
emails?
I can email it too. Why don't you do that?
Are we looking for an email address? No.
I was gonna email it to Dave and then he could forward it all to you.
Okay. Mm.
So just so I get the words right in the minutes. What, the person who you called, was that for the Finney scholarship?
No.
What was the?
No, it was are you talking to me, Hayden?
Yes,
Oh, no, it was the fellow who had the baseball trust for
Okay.
the library. It was
Right.
one who was giving the Dewey Decimal amount of money for the library to buy baseball books.
okay. And do we know the name of that?
And I had his name, and I've been looking all over for it today. I had the letter that Diane had sent me, and it's probably in your minutes from a couple of meetings ago.
Okay,
right?
I think
Because
it's
he did-
Lasker or something like that.
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay.
So I just emailed that sheet to Dave, so he should be forwarding that to you any moment now.
Okay.
So, and the recommendations are in the yellow column here,
Correct.
are just one initial question. Some of them are rounded, some of them are not, like the first few.
So those first few are just trust funds and they are essentially allocations to departments rather than scholarship awards. So,
So
so the department might use that to buy books according to the terms of the trust.
Got it. So it's. Yeah, the purpose of rounding it is just to make it easier for the purpose of students applying, but for those particular ones, there's just no need to bother with that.
I guess they want every penny. So,
Well, you could rounding can go up and
Yeah,
down,
that's true,
depends how
that's
you
true.
round.
that's-
And then for the ones, a bunch of them say, no award. And I can see that some of them it's because they're very small. And I assume we're in the process, Hayden, of kind of wrapping those up,
Hmm,
like centennial footballs, like the first one I see.
yeah, I can't see what you see.
Sorry. But there are one or two that are, I saw one that was marked no award. Like there's the Jensen Trust, it's probably the 10th one up from the bottom.
Um,
That does have a material balance, but we're still not doing an award.
so there was, I believe Jensen, just looking for that one. 10 up from the bottom, so.
Approximately.
57.
Richard Jensen.
Oh, from up at the top.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were looking at paper. So it's Richard Jensen. It's about $6,000.
Oh, Richard Jensen.
And
Um,
it says no award.
We
seeking
actually
guidance.
were seeking, we had been seeking some guidance from town council on this one.
Mhm.
There didn't appear to be a basis. It was an unclear basis for that award, so we were looking for some guidance on how that one was supposed to be distributed.
Joe, I emailed it to you.
Thank you. Still might not do you any good. And how,
This one actually has some notes included, so that's actually.
that's better, yeah. I think, it might be a font size question and not a completeness question. What have we done with it in the past?
Nothing.
Nothing. So is it a new,
It has been in existence for quite a few years and we have just been waiting for town council. Dave Tobin, I think, had been working on that and then,
Yep.
we now need to give that to the new town council.
so when was this trust formed?
I think it's been around as long as I've been here.
What is that in?
Richard Jensen.
Yes, I think it has been.
I was just commenting, it says there's no award to be given, but that one actually has some money in it. It's not one of these de minimis
Right.
type, we're getting rid of it, accounts, so. So have we never made an award from this?
We've never made an award because town council had indicated that needed to go to probate. For
Okay.
some
So
kind
it
of-
was willed or something, and there was no
It's unclear.
one who was able to actually clarify some instruction that someone left in a will. I see, okay. And now the town council new town council is gonna work on this project.
Basically, we have to get the courts to give us permission to redefine what the purpose of the scholarship is. And it's process.
Yeah,
There was some.
as long as it's in process, I guess there's nothing for us to do.
There was some question, a similar comment and question around the Durwood Newman and the Dwight School trusts. The Durwood Newman was written to benefit the Newman School, but it references a middle school. So it's unclear at this point whether it's intended to benefit the middle school, Newman, or both.
Mhm.
And what are we doing on that?
That would be the same situation.
Can't we just make it a decision? As opposed to, like, what, we're going back to the family, or what's the,
According to town council, that was, and again, I think this has been something that we've since Dave Tobin, passed has no longer been working on that, obviously. He had indicated that needed to go to probate court. So perhaps the new town council will feel differently, but
given how long the first one took? Seems like we should just make a decision. I know,
Right.
you don't wanna go against the legal counsel.
One question would be, who, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not suggesting I have an opinion here, but if the town were to just unilaterally make a decision, who does that decision hurt?
Right,
Like,
who
who
would question?
would sue, in theory, the town for how they decide one way or other, as long as it's kind of within what seems to be the spirit of,
I think the Attorney General has standings on any charitable purpose.
yeah.
And could always, if asked, could interject.
It seems like a risk-based decision where you're not likely to have the Attorney General chasing you down for,
$500.
right, or if we were just to expend it on the Newman School. Or split it between Newman and the middle school, or you see what I mean, like. Would the Attorney General really come after it? But again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not gonna opine.
Well, I certainly understand from any of us who's elected, I'm not an attorney, a lay person, that it sounds reasonable, that you're entrusted to ensure that the wishes of the donor are always adhered to. Hence, one of the primary reasons of having a commission of trust funds.
Right.
The council is suggesting that that's beyond the discretion of the board. That we just go through the process, because another important thing is future donations may not come because there's a hesitation. Well, how do I know they're not going to change the intent of my donation?
I don't think that's gonna happen in this example, but. I don't think a reasonable person would say, like, if we gave it to. We made a decision as it relates to Newman, as Dan said, I don't think anyone would ever question it. Why would they? And secondly.
Maybe they hated the Paul.
Should we invite town council to come here, and should we, in advance of the meeting, review these documents so we're kind of fresh on what they actually say, and just, or has the council just decided it's going to probate and that's it?
so again, this was the old town council, so,
So has the new council been,
Presented to the new council.
Yeah.
I think let's.
Is there a new person?
Christopher Heath, yes. David Holden that passed away. So.
right,
So let's see what their take on it, and if it's similar, can certainly get a writing as to why they think, or if they think, no, it's within the discretion of the commission, then we'll have that in writing as well.
so will you ask Chris?
Yes, Ian and I will do
Oh,
this.
Thank you.
We'll commit to that.
And were there anything on here in particular you wanted to highlight? Like, I'm kind of just analytically going through it and seeing if things pop up.
There were a small number of funds that had a residual balance, I think sometimes that residual balance comes from the bank at the end of the year, allocating earnings from maybe the previous quarters. We'd just like to extinguish those and perhaps allocate those funds to some other. We just like to close them, but then maybe extinguish them by combining them with some other award. Merging them into some other account. I'm not sure what is involved with doing that, but we're carrying a lot of, ones with $200 in it, or. In particular, that would be the Centennial Football, as you noted, there's a small balance on Joey Paulini.
So when you say seeking approval to redistribute, seeking our approval, like, are you asking our permission? Or
I guess so. I'm not sure who are the great powers that would allow that, but I think we're interested in just closing them
Right.
and allowing the students to benefit in some way by.
Is there? So. It seems to me to make sense to redistribute. The question is, where would it go?
I think we should just tell Rockland to treat it as income and essentially allocate it pro rata
Agreed.
to all the other trusts.
You could do that.
I don't know that there's another fair way. We'll get into, we won't be, if we're gonna try to match it up with the closest objective or something, it's not gonna be too hard.
So I think we would be potentially talking about, from the top, it would be Centennial Football. There's a small balance in the Joey Paulini. Sorry, no, that's not correct. Timothy Flanagan.
Which one was that again?
Timothy Flanagan at the bottom, that has $22.22 in it.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
Go back to Paulini, Joseph Paulini for a second, that has $6,400.
I think that is an incorrect representation, actually, because the balance on that, the market value is $63.83.
Right, so that should be a $250
Yeah,
scholarship.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. That was incorrect.
So, would it make sense for you to send a list of those that you think should just be closed?
Mhm.
And the amounts, and then maybe, who would talk to Rockland, would be Diane?
Yes, it would be Diane, so I want you to give the guidance to do so.
So Joe, do you think we need to vote on this, or is it just make a decision?
I think it's just a procedural issue, but if you want to vote on it, I'm happy to do that.
There was one where the donor wanted the money back, which was William T. Burke.
Yeah.
$379.30.
Yeah.
We might, include that in the disbursements at the end of the year.
Okay.
Sure.
Fine.
Do you need our guidance on that last one?
I guess consensus, if that's fine.
I think it's fine. It's a little weird they want it back, but.
Yeah, now what I think more appropriate, because it would be a disbursement, that it would be a memo that we can get drafted up and signed off at your next meeting and paid out just like an invoice.
Okay.
We can provide the backup, writing from the donor indicating that they'd like that balance back.
Okay. Well, we have the advantage here that the donor is alive and well, sounds like, so that's,
Or a relative. Is
Okay.
alive and well.
so someone who is alive has legal standing to ask for it back.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Are we all satisfied with everything?
I think so. So the decision is, I think we all agree for the ones that are.
Yeah.
very small, we agree to redistribute and you'll send Diane a summary for.
I'll send Diane a
Rockledge.
summary, of the ones we'd like to redistribute the earnings to the other remaining funds. We'll include the request for the disbursement to Burke with the other scholarships, so will this be a separate invoice, that separate disbursement?
I think the second discussion.
We'll do a separate disbursement for that one, and then, the others would be just a donation that you would process at the, or a scholarship amount that you would process at the end of the year.
Good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
You fellas want to sign the invoices at this point?
And we only actually need 2 signatures on those, Joe, right? So
That's correct.
you're comfortable with us
Yep.
doing that?
So, Joe, there's a lot to sign today. There are 10 packets. So I guess.
Whoa.
Start with, packet is, a trust fund reimbursement summary from the library. You know, and Dan, I'll.
Well, it'll probably be easier if we just,
Okay.
if we do them all at meeting and he shoots them over to you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dan.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
I am.
Diane,
Based on that, there's some letters, these are the standard letters, thanking the people who made donations, for the scholarship that, Diane will send out after you've reviewed them and are okay with them.
Okay. Thank you. We'll start everything.
No, they just sign on it, Diane's finance, you like just to see how the wording is, but it's actually signed by Ann and by the treasurer.
so does she send these?
No, not yet.
No, does she send these every year
Yes. Just the,
to any scholarship? Any, for every
individual, the individuals who are alive, that gave scholarships to just, again, thank them for, and explain how their monies are being used.
Should it still say Evie Finesse?
Yeah, no, but, I think they'll reprint them with Diane's name, but the body of the letter won't change.
Ian, did you sign this?
Dude, I thought. Oh, no, I just filled in the date. I'm a little confused on these letters. So this is asking them to confirm they're continuing to sponsor this scholarship.
Yeah.
But aren't the funds basically already given to the town and the sponsor doesn't really have any rights any longer?
And this is outside of my area.
Okay.
Clearly, the school department thinks that it's important to send this. It could be that they contribute money, more money every year to the trust. Or the way that the scholarship was set up had a condition that the community had to reconfirm. So,
And most of the, this is probably the question for Ann, actually, but if most of these have these forms that go out, is this all of them, or?
yes, it's not all the trust funds, but it's seven specific scholarships that they use this
Okay.
for. And as what Diane explained to me, it's been done for a number of years. Joe, are you familiar, do you remember the letters that are sent out to the donors
Nothing to sign.
scholarships? Is the revitalization?
Yes, they've been sent out. Yeah, every year she sends them out to some of the donors.
So, not to beat a dead horse, but
No, don't.
on this issue about sending it out and getting approval. I mean, ignoring the question whether it's really the town's funds or the trust funds. Money now and not really the donors, but at some point, I imagine there's times where there's nobody alive to even confirm it.
That's right. In those cases, it's just, we can do whatever we choose to do if it's gone beyond the point of where we can't make a reasonable scholarship out of it.
Joe, there's a paragraph in this letter that says, you know, essentially as part of your signing this letter, you consent to the commissioner's policy of spending 4% of the market value per year. So to the extent that people are either using different policies or more likely that it's just silent, these letters will support us, using a 4% rule. So we should, we should probably formally get a copy of these and put them in our files for that reason.
Yeah, I'll mention it
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's helpful that that's there. I agree with you, Hayden. It is odd that we're kind of asking, who are we asking?
another one right there.
How are we doing for getting a new librarian?
They're, hoping that, they're doing the search again.
Yep.
And their hope is that they'll have somebody on board by, March.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm not sure where it was, but it's still together, so.
Next one. That was a little smaller. That one's for the library.
Go and hire a new treasurer.
Yes.
They're gonna digitize this whole process, right? The whole workflow. No handwritten reimbursement requests with 30 number account numbers.
The problem is that it originates in the library, so we would first need them to digitize. Large batch. Right.
You tell them that you're digitizing and we can't actually pay using a manual process anymore, then we'll do it.
Yeah, that would be helpful if it could, but by law, we have to go to the lowest common denominator
By law.
by law.
There's no stamp on this one.
At the bottom, yes, put it back over. Yeah. I actually don't know why they do put them in all separate packets. I mean, it's the same. I was thinking maybe they were different vendors, but the same vendor. Maybe different functions, but involved books.
Maybe they were
There's a
put-
handful of vendors in this one.
Maybe they were put together at different times. 2 weeks ago and then.
No, I'm looking at the times, they're all printed, not too far apart. The cover sheet.
Maybe they just like.
Oh, each one's a different trust fund. That's.
Last one.
Last batch for signature. And then we have one other item. And the last thing is, I believe it's seeking, this is the topic that, Joe was just talking about earlier. The library trustees are accepting the gift from Tom Harkins.
Oh, Harkins, that was his name, yeah.
Yep, Tom Harkins, to donate $7,963.57, which if you're not aware, the amount is the Dewey Decimal System for baseball.
Yes.
And if you want to see the letter, Diane is looking for the board to vote, to formally accept it. And then she will deposit the funds
Yeah.
into the account.
So
I'll
nothing.
entertain a motion to accept the donation.
I second.
You make a motion,
Oh, I thought he said he made a motion. Sorry. I make a motion to accept the, don't trust.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Very good. Diane didn't give me any trust fund balance report, so I don't have anything to share with you there.
That's perfectly fine. It is time for us to schedule a future meeting. I have the January calendar in front of me. Martin Luther King Day is the 15th, which is a Monday. So Dan, I'll let you decide what days are convenient for you since you're the one who has to travel the furthest.
You want to do it that Martin Luther King week, though?
No, well, no, you can go a week ahead or a week behind.
Normally I would say Mondays and Thursdays are the best for me, but Monday's Martin Luther King, we don't want to do that, and that
Right.
Thursday, the 18th, I actually can't do.
Okay. So what about 22nd? You're not going to be in Florida, Hayden, are you?
No, we go February 1st.
22nd would be good.
Okay. 5 o'clock again?
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. And now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you all very much. And again, I'm sorry I can't be there with you, but